Hey friends, welcome back to the channel here at Paradise on Pennies. Today we want to talk about something pretty important. We want to address a question that we have gotten quite a bit, and it's whether or not we do or will ever sell merchandise here on the channel. You may have seen this elsewhere in other channels on YouTube or groups that you follow, bands, whatever. A lot of people resort to selling merchandise, or merch as they call it, to raise money. So yeah, we're going to address that today. And we're going to talk about why we will or will not decide to sell merch and why. It's a pretty important topic. So, of course, we do need some money to get by. I don't love stuff, but we do need some money for things like food and our gas, and we love dogs and want to have as many dogs as we can, so we need, of course, some money to take care of them, and just to have like an emergency fund for safety. I mean, these all require us to have some money, unfortunately, but that's just the truth of it, right? So if we need it, one of our biggest things is to live with less and not need as much money. And that's been kind of our life strategy, is to not need a ton of money. But like I said, we do need some. So what do we do? What do we do to make money? We'll address this in more detail in other videos, but some of the obvious answers are we work for our money. We work part-time jobs here and there. We work online. I work online to make us some of our money. And there are other ways to make money. And as I mentioned, one of the biggest things that you'll see that others do to make money, to raise money, is selling merch. And the big question is, will we here at Paradise on Pennies ever be selling merch? Now, what I mean by merch, just so you guys, if you are not familiar with it, it's things like, cups with the name on it or a trendy saying, t-shirts or keychains or
stickers,
hats and stickers. Yeah, just things that kind of say our name or say our quote or something fun like that. So will we sell merch at Paradise on Pennies? The answer is no, never. We will never sell merch. And there's a good reason why, and I'm going to go into that now. The basic summary is that actually goes completely against our core beliefs and values. We're going to talk in detail now about why that is, but it is completely against our beliefs to be selling merch here. So, the main issue is that we advocate here against mass consumption, a mass consumption society, because we totally believe that it's the mass consumption lifestyle that is contributing to pretty much all the problems that we see today, that we face as people and a planet. It all can be traced back to our overconsumption of resources, and that's the main thing we need to do in order to get on the right track, take care of the planet, and solve a lot of these issues that we have. I can trace almost every issue back to mass consumption. And what I mean by mass consumption, to be clear, is basically just using and consuming more than we need to survive and even just to be comfortable. I mean, a lot of us are way beyond comfort, let's be honest. If we have the basics, then we're fine. And everything above that is mass consumption. And we really need to ask ourselves, is it worth it?
Yeah, a lot of people are obviously knowing about climate change now because it's getting into the news finally. So that's one of the biggest things that are happening because of mass consumption, along with environmental degradation, which they don't talk about as much. So we're destroying our ecosystem, our landscape, where we need to live on.
We're cutting down the forest, polluting the water. I mean, these are all things we really need.
Yeah, we're ruining our food because now we're really not even eating anything nutritious anymore because there's no money in that.
Soil's degraded. There's plastic in our food. A lot of things. I mean, destroying our food system, destroying our water supply. These are really big issues. And as we travel around living the way we do, we experience it firsthand. It's shocking to see some of the destruction when you actually get out there. And then in addition to that, we do a heck of a lot of reading And so that combination of seeing it and reading about it is kind of a sad reality of that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in addition to that, all the garbage that we're producing has to go in landfills. So we don't really need more landfills, but I see us constructing more of them. And then even with that, we have a crisis where we don't know what to do with waste from all this production. So nuclear waste is an issue. If you research that, we don't know what to do with nuclear waste. And we don't know what to do with mining waste. Some of it is being pumped into the ground, thrown into our waterways, for mining metals. And
Trump just passed a law like last week saying that it's okay to dump mining waste into the public waters. So
yeah, this isn't a good direction for us to go. And in addition to that, there's the plastic issue. We don't know what to do with plastic, and it's just ending up everywhere in our environment, in our water, in our soil, in our oceans. So
yeah. So their big answer was obviously the big 3 R's: the reduce, reuse, recycle. And seems like everybody just skipped the first two and were like, we'll just recycle because that's the easiest thing to do. So we can still buy tons of stuff. We'll just recycle it. So again, if you've been watching the news lately, which I guess this was more last year, but most of our recycling wasn't getting recycled anyway because there's no money in recycling.
We were selling our garbage. We were doing.
We were selling it to China, and then China got tired of it, so they cut us off. So now we are actually just burning most of it or throwing it in a landfill. Yeah. So a lot of places are still paying for recycling, even though it's not getting recycled.
Either way, we're not recycling it. Either way, it shouldn't be produced if we don't need it. That's the point. And also, if you follow or read up on some of the research, I've read some interesting studies, and they show that there is pretty much plastic in everything. It's pretty disturbing. Certain studies have looked at water samples, soil samples, beach samples, things like that. And in the majority of their samples, sometimes in all of them, they find microplastics. So what that means, if you think about that, is it's hurting the ecosystem. Little tiny microplastics get into the food chain. And if you know anything about bioaccumulation, that means that eventually we're eating our own plastic waste, which is,
not what you're supposed to be
accumulating in these organisms, as well as not just plastics are in them, but also then other toxins. That's bioaccumulation. The toxins actually get worse the higher you go in the food chain, and guess who's up there? So
we're eating our own garbage.
Yeah, we are eating our own garbage now. So less garbage would be great. So also, I mean, like I said, mining also is polluting our water, and water is life. Water is important. We need to really think about water, not just polluting it, but damming it as well, killing the ecosystem and killing ourselves along with that. So yeah, that's pretty much why we advocate for reducing consumption. And I get it. As humans, we're going to consume. As any organism, you consume and you make waste. That's a byproduct of life, metabolism, whatever. There's some waste. But it does not have to be on the level that it is right now as humans. And if we could all just work together to reduce it, we could still live comfortably. We can still live in paradise and have a lot.
We live comfortably and we don't have hardly anything. I have like 4 shirts, so it's not that not hard to do, but you've all been to thrift shops. You've all seen the amount of clothes that are in there. There's no need to be buying new stuff online. Plus, it's going to save you a lot of money. So all the other stuff that you're buying for merch, you can get at a thrift shop too. It just doesn't say somebody's name on it.
One of the top sources in this research of the microplastics were polyester garments. It was your clothes in the washing machine. Every cycle was giving off these microplastics, and that wastewater that comes from the washing machine eventually finds its way back into water systems. And so that was sourced as one of the number 1 items contributing to this microplastic pollution. So yeah, we don't need more clothes, and
another reason not to wash your clothes so much too.
Yes, and we don't need to be producing more clothes, because think about all the byproduct waste every time we produce anything. So if we don't need it, why produce it? Why build a factory? Why source the material? And remember, it's not just the item that is the waste eventually. It's also everything that goes into like getting the item, getting the materials, moving them around, wood to transport it in a a box or whatever, a crate, and the
factory
gas
to make
and
it,
the truck that's
the ink.
running, and the water that goes into it. Yeah, there's just a lot that goes along with everything. So why produce more stuff if we don't need it? And just like Ramsey said, go to any, I mean, I'm sure you guys have been in thrift stores. The main thing that's in there is clothes. So we really don't need to be producing more clothes. Why don't we just reuse what's already out there? There's good clothes there, and it saves you money. So, yeah, so things like t-shirts, we're not going to be producing more of that for no reason at all, just for us to make money. Sure, we need some to get by, like I said, but I'm not going to the level of producing it just to make money when that goes completely against my belief system. So, yeah, that's pretty much the answer why, and we thought we'd explain to you guys why there's not merch on this channel, and also give you some background on what our belief system is. And if you guys really want to contribute and help out and show that you support us, then that's a great way to do it, is just to go along with us in reducing consumption. So, yeah. So, that's it. That's our answer, and, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed our take on this. It's kind of a serious matter for us, so we got maybe a little excited, but...
Yeah, so if you want to help us out, don't buy anything. Go live your life, share the message.
Yep.
So, see if we can turn this around.
Yeah, we can work together as people to take care of our shared home.
Yep.
So that's our message. Anyway, guys, that's it for today, and...
yeah, we'll see you next time, guys.
Yep. Thanks for being here. Bye.